Chapter 6, Served Cold. Remember, if you do enjoy, to like, share, and subscribe. The evening after the Nadja's murder, you receive a royal summons to Tristan's quarters. But instead of Tristan's usual suite, a guard escorts you to a guest room. Tucked away in the same wing, Tristan glances up as you enter. You moved rooms? Ruby oversaw the cleanup earlier today, but even an industrial-grade bleach can't scrub away the memory of finding a fresh corpse in my suite. Your eyes scan the room, cataloging the silk sheets of the bed, the single door leading in and out. At least, this room doesn't have a secret entrance, right? No secret passages, no peepholes, no hollowed-out places to listen from behind the walls. Does the door lock? With a deadbolt, no murderous tools to utilize here that I can think of. Now that I just have to make sure I look sufficiently unruffled. He looks good. Tristan turns back to the mirror and smooths the lapels of his suit. He tilts his hat, critical, and reties it completely. You seem nervous. I was never any good at pulling rank over my siblings or playing the hair. You've come a long way since the last time you saw them. You've changed. So have they. If one of them is now willing to murder innocent bystanders to express their displeasure with me. He turns from the mirror to look at you, a trace of fear evident in his eyes. What if I make a mistake tonight and someone else turns up dead? What if they come for you next? I can handle myself even against a thorn. Pull a thin knife from your sleeve without missing a bead. Tristan raises an appreciative eyebrow. You've been practicing that? I couldn't sleep last night. Running some Drakovian self-defense drills felt like a good use of my time. Without warning, Tristan draws a golden dagger from inside of his clothes. You parry on instinct, deflecting the blade before it can reach your neck. A very good use of your time. He steps back, a smile lingering on his face as he looks down at your outfit. Are you sure you're ready? Should I not be? You know I think you look amazing in anything but royal dinners or black tie affairs. And if I defy convention, I'll be executed in the town square? Nothing so fatal, but it's you and me against my family, and Drakovians have a flair for style. He sweeps open the armoire's doors, revealing an ensemble with Margaret's signature flair. Its gold accents complement Tristan's attire perfectly. They sure do. I could go toe-to-toe with the Queen in this. It's a symbol of our alliance. One that will tell my family in no uncertain terms that neither of us is to be underestimated. A viper's venom. It's an interesting gown. You undress, allowing your clothes to pool at your feet. We're already friends, partners, lovers, might as well add political allies to the list. He grins, eyes raking over your body as he hands you the outfit. If I had more experience with healthy relationships, I'd draw some sort of metaphor there. You like your relationships like you like your wine? Complex and acidic, kind of like my coffee. Robust, kinda also like my coffee. Tristan laughs, pressing a kiss to your bare shoulder before he helps you zip up your gown. Perfect. You jump at the sound of a tap on the door. Margaret lets herself in a moment later with Alice at her heels. Oh, she looks nice. Thought it was a black tie affair. Now that is how I design these pieces to be worn. You both look positively striking. Alice gives your new clothes an approving sniff. But will I make all your douchey siblings tremble in their boots? You'll leave them floundering for anything snide to say about your appearance, which is as good as. Now, we just need to make sure they can't say anything about your manners. You know I've been to dinners before, right? Nice ones, in restaurants and everything. In that case, you won't mind refreshing us on the correct way to eat escargot? That's easy. You don't. Escargot. No, I'm thinking of oyster. Use fork and tongs. The tongs keep the shell in place while you scoop the snail out with a little fork. That's right. Where have you had snails? I haven't, but I do have a gourmet network. And can you tell a snail fork from an oyster fork? The first has 2 prongs. Does that matter? Yes, actually it does. The Queen is currently tolerating you, Chloe, most likely to keep Tristan complacent as he prepares to take the throne. And her goodwill is famously short. If you want to keep the reins of this investigation, you need to impress her on your own merits and act cultured. Does your family seriously not know that New York is one of the culture capitals of the world? They know that it's a haven of my choice. Therefore, it's a cesspit of depravity, except for the very small bubble where Margaret lives. If you want them to know what level of culture New York has to offer, Chloe, you'll have to be the one to prove it to them. By using the right cutlery? By politicating. One of our siblings might be a murderer, but all of them would love to see Tristan's partner fail. You frown and consider your first impressions of the Thorn children. Who do you want more intel on? Sebastian, Lydia, Mika and Casper, Vasily, Astrid. I'm stuck between Bass and Vasily. I wouldn't mind more on Vasily. Vasily's quiet, but he's obviously clever. He is both of those things, but my brother has the same alibi as I do. He's a sucker for decorum and rule-making. He won't risk appalling my mother for the sake of needling me, or you. And he'll keep Bass in line, as well as anyone can. Bass may be in politics, but Vasily is the family diplomat. There is a non-zero chance my siblings will unite against you as a common enemy or a common plaything. If you recall, there's a common tradition in Drakovia of testing a newcomer with poisoned wine. Not even our siblings could be that short-sighted during a murder investigation. Tristan's eyes flash as a thought occurs to him, and a muscle in his jaw jumps. You'd hope. But if you smell almonds, it's cyanide. You put a comforting hand on his arm, aware that Margaret won't be fooled by the friendly gesture. Tristan relaxes marginally. If they all verbally gang up on me, I'll deal with it. I'm not exactly a stranger to adversity. After all, I'm a New Yorker. Your family might think that makes me an uncouth slob, but you know it makes me tough as grit. And smart as a whip. We know they're underestimating you, Chloe. My main concern is that you're underestimating them once they smell blood. So, teach me how to avoid drawing their attention. You avoid it by not giving them a chance to sniff it out. Pretend you belong, follow every protocol, and give them nothing to sink their teeth into. Pretend? I'll be the perfect thespian. Give me a role and I'll see it through. What do I need to know? Well, there's a myriad of possible things that may become necessary to know. Like never address the Queen as anything other than Your Majesty or Queen Victoria if you don't want to be deported. You'll be given water and wine as soon as you sit. Don't touch either until Mother has taken a sip. And if you have any weapons on you, you may place them on the table as a mark of status. But only if they're worth bragging about. Your taser should absolutely not go on the table. A knife or a dagger is customary, which you are permitted to eat with. It's the one exception you're able to make in regards to cutlery. Okay, hold on. How am I supposed to remember all this? Do you want me to repeat it for you? I mean, I get it. Most people have a 12-second or less memory retention, but sheer will. There is a trick I used at balls when I Didn't have time to brush up on my local customs. You're actually familiar with it. Audra taps her ear with a smile. A neat piece. I thought I could set Luke and Ruby up with some resources on protocol, as well as personal files on our siblings. They can feed you all the information you need. You'd be free to focus on actual case instead of where to put your dinner napkin. Typically your left thigh. I've been to fancy things myself. And they won't notice me wearing a device? Not the top-of-the-line tech the Royal Guards use. It will save you a world of grief. Of course. Luke and Ruby arrive a few minutes after your call, and you set them up in the palace library so they'll be within range. Luke's armed with his laptop and 2 earpieces, Ruby with a big bag of greasy takeout. So, how badly have I ruined your plans for tonight? Well, we did have a reservation at a restaurant in the city. Which we'd already decided to bail on in favor of burgers and couch co-op. So really, by letting us guide you through an etiquette and murder minefield, you're just giving us a more interesting game to play. And, I'd give up a whole lot more than date night for a look at the intel files she promised. Hold on. You know this is a serious... No, he knows. We're guests in the country and we're working a very specific job. And I will only use that, what I learn, to complete the job. But I can't promise I won't enjoy myself. As long as you both take this seriously. Don't worry, Chloe. We won't cause an international incident or anything. Margaret drops a thick folder in front of Ruby. My princess portfolio. Everything that Chloe will need tonight should be in there. Oh. We should go. I believe cocktail hour has already started, though we do want to be a tad late. Luke, Ruby, enjoy, I suppose. You look from Tristan to Margaret and give them your best moral or royal impression. Yeah, morals. Royals don't have those. What? Shall we? You follow Tristan and Margaret into the Queen's parlor with Alice at your side. You rest one hand on her neck and grateful for her company. Amika looks over from the sofa they share with Casper, their eyes widening as they settle on Alice. Is that a boxer? To your surprise, Amika drops to her knees and looks Alice in the eyes. They put their hands on either side of her head. Aren't you a beautiful creature? Yes, yes you are. Yeah, stand your ground, my darling. Casper drifts over, a drink in hand. I'd never have guessed that you'd have such an interesting companion, Miss... You know my name, Casper. Do I? Amika stands, taking in your outfit with quiet approval. You've been here less than a minute. You already surprised me twice. Maybe you're worth taking note of after all. A good dog and a decent outfit to make it a personality. Neither does a snarky attitude. Ooh, touche, New York. I told you not to underestimate my partner. Tristan, come here. Yes, mother. I'm sorry to leave you, Chloe. I'll be back as soon as I can. No rush. I'll chat with your siblings while I wait. Oh joy. As Tristan takes his leave, you notice that Amika and Casper are broken into hushed argument. Across the room, Sebastian glares openly at you. Let's go. Let's deal with him. Sebastian makes no attempt to hide his scrutiny as you approach. I could do without the pleasantries, Detective. Why is that, Prince Sebastian? Do I have something on my face? I'm sure you know you look perfectly adequate tonight. Is that your version of a compliment? For you, I suppose it is. But that's not why I was staring. I was trying to gauge whether my brother has slept with you yet. Ooh, way to be the weird middle child. Interesting. Do you think about your brother's sex life often? Hardly, but Tristan's never met a professional line he couldn't cross. And here you are, his partner from another continent, leading an investigation into family members he has no love for. You're questioning my impartiality? Call it that if you like it. Remember how much he hates his brother. You might have to diss Tristan if you want to get this jackass on side. And if you don't, then you should make Sebastian feel like an idiot. The guy seriously hates it when he feels like people are questioning his intelligence. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I regret doing diamond choices because I would just like to, figure shit out myself, you know? You think all Americans are that easy? You caught us. I am definitely tapping that royal ass. Gross. Tristan is the last person I'd sleep with. He is. My agency's important to me. Even if rich airheads were my type, I wouldn't jeopardize my professional relationships over a royal roll in the hay. So you do think Tristan is an idiot. And so are you. The acid in his voice smarts a bit. You glance over to Tristan, swallowing the impulse to switch tactics and defend him. He's not exactly a genius, but he has brought some high-paying clients to the agency. And that's why you came to Drakovia to help him? Margaret hired us to prove Tristan's innocence, and now that the Queen's hired us to find Nadja's murderer. Margaret looks over at the sound of Nadja's name, stepping over to join your conversation. Are we finally talking about Nadja, the person whom everyone seems to have forgotten about in all of this? Sebastian's eyes flash with anger, but then he softens. When he speaks, it's like something that sounds like regret. I never forgot about her. Then you knew her? I'd never have guessed, considering how inconvenienced you appeared that night. A harsh but fair observation. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be one of the few people she called a friend, as were Margaret and Juliana. Was Nadja's death painful? You hesitate, uncertain how to answer, but until Ruby speaks into your ear. It was quick, but yeah, it would have been excruciating. Does he need to hear that, though? If he's the killer, then he's testing us. If he's not, then maybe hearing the truth will redirect his anger somewhere useful. She died in agony, but it was over quickly. It wouldn't have taken more than a few seconds for her to bleed out. How long is a few seconds in your mind? I see. Thank you for your candor. If you don't mind me asking, how was your relationship with Nadja before she died? Were you still close? Actually, I do mind. Sebastian turns on his heel and stalks over to stand between Lydia and Vasily. Touchy subject. Interesting. Yeah, but it also means that he would have cared too much to actually do the deed. He doesn't handle grief well. Historically. Do you know any more about their friendship? I wish I did. I hadn't spoken to Bass or Nadja for a long time before we came back here. I'll have to follow up with on Nadja and Sebastian's relationship later. Who should I talk to? Amico. We step closer to the twins. They brandish their empty glasses, speaking heatedly to one another in a language you can't place. Oh, come on, at least give us something. Is that Drakovian? Oh, were you not aware that it's rude to butt into someone else's conversation? Obviously, she has no idea, but she might be a useful moderator in this instance. How can the rude New Yorker assist? We were deciding what to drink next. I vote for a corpse reviver, but Casper's arguing passionately for the hanged man. You can't just get one of each? That's not how we were. Amika and I were born together, therefore we drink together. Exclusivity exclusively and always. And don't bother asking what's in either drink. We want the aesthetic, not the flavor. You raise your eyebrows, trying to figure out what the twins are really asking of you. Okay, my cousins do this all the time. Don't fall for it, Chloe. Either way, one of them loses, and then you're the enemy. Maybe there's a third option. If they want viral cocktails with cool names, raise them a lonely island lost in the middle of a foggy sea. I'm sorry, a what now? The hell is that? Coffee and rum. Not that they'll even care, it's a Chicago thing. Is it? You clear your throat and gesture at the extravagant bottles stocked behind the bar. I recommend, I wouldn't mind a corpse reviver. It sounds like it might have caffeine in it. I'm serious. Lonely island lost in the middle of a foggy sea. The twins glance at each other in surprise and turn their intrigued gazes on you in terrifyingly slow unison. Oh, what now? It's a specialty cocktail from America. You mean New York? Chicago, actually. You can't possibly have anything against Chicago. A confused flicker in their eyes gives you an exact ammunition you need against these two. That is, if you even know what state Chicago is in. I know those can be tricky for a foreigner to get their head around. We know where Chicago is, obviously. Casper, go get us this American delicacy. We'll see if it stands up to our own. The name definitely does. Casper gives you an intrigued look as he moves to the servant manning the bar. Glad to be of service. Amika leans down and scratch behind Alice's ears as you take stock of each other. What's your interest in Tristan? He's my partner. That means something where I'm from. Could also be some sort of leftover baggage from your dead father. Did you ever consider that? Ooh, we're going for the jugular here. Not particularly. You've been working for a woman all this time. Of course you feel certain things when a strong, confident man comes back into your life. Oh, I want to smack them so hard. Keep your cool. This is what they do, Chloe. Don't engage. Over the earpiece, there's the sound of pages flipping, and Ruby hums in satisfaction. Looks like they don't have the best relationship with their dad. Maybe you can use that. Oh, like we couldn't tell that from before. You take a deep breath and meet Amika's eyes with a cold, hard stare. Amika, at least I have a relationship with my dad. I was my dad's only child. I had all of his attention, all of his love. But you're one of, 9 children? And clearly he prefers Eveline to your mother. Wow. Well served, New York. Thank you, thank you. Why the interest in my interest, anyway? Gathering information is kind of my thing. We have that in common. But you're not close to Tristan or in line for the throne. The only reason I've heard of you or Casper is because he steals stuff. God damn. We went for the jugular in return. Detective, you should count yourself lucky you don't know more about me. Anyone who does wishes they didn't. Casper returns with a matching pair of cocktails, except for the fact that one is already half drained. Speaking of your work, tell me, is it true that the old Ricochet is languishing in an old velvet prison cell? We reserve that treatment for the bored princesses. Oh, I'm never bored. What's that thing our nanny used to say? Only the dead are bored, and boring might as well be dead. I like that. And with that, Casper loops his arm through Amika's, steering them unsteadily away. Those two would fit right in with the Addams family. No, don't do that. No. Addams family are good people. Except they lean way more into that creepy than funny. They're weird and mean, sure, but how much of it is just talk? The records are free of homicide, at least. As of now, not just murder was sloppy enough to be a first kill. The twins lean against the wall, whispering as they turn their attention to where Tristan speaks with his parents. They might not benefit directly from Tristan losing the crown, but something tells me I shouldn't discount them just yet. You return to Margaret's side, glancing at the elegant grandfather clock in the corner. Well, you're not crying yet. I don't think crying was on the agenda, annoying me until I punch one of them in their smug faces, however. Margaret raises her glass to you with a wry smile. In that case, well done on resisting that highly understandable urge. When do we actually get to sit down and eat dinner? We should have sat down 15 minutes ago. Maybe the Queen once asked you to arrive. But the sound of the parlor doors opens swallows her words. A young man you haven't seen enters. He wears an inordinately heavy silver chain around his neck with pomaded hair styled as if he's just stepped out of a fashion magazine. Wow. He looks like a winner. Is this the long-lost stepchild come from the dungeons to get the biscuits? Hopefully I made you chuckle with that. Who said y'all could start the party without me? Oh, hell. Who's this? Patrick! You've arrived at last. The Queen crosses the room to kiss the final member of the Thorn family. She turns to the room grandly. Now, we may eat. I'm gonna guess this guy's an anomaly. You take Tristan's arm, entering a grand dining room, 3 paces behind Queen Victoria and King Maxim. Tristan leads you to the corner of a long, lavishly set table. You move to sit as you reach your seat, but Tristan's arm stiffens. Not yet, we sit according to Mother's whims. On your left, a golden placard sits atop Tristan's plate, inscribed with his name. On your right, a card reads Duchess Eveline. I see I've won the seating lottery. I'm afraid you've won in a low division. At last, the king and queen take their seats. A few of the siblings wait a beat before taking their own. Across from you, Lydia places a dagger beside her plate. Appears Lydia still has access to her knife, or stole someone's. Alice settles herself beneath the table, resting her wide head on your foot. So Tristan, you're back. How was the moldy apple? I always preferred LA myself. There's so much more culture over there. Patrick looks lazily at you, as if he's just noticed you despite sitting directly opposite your chair. Plus the people there are way hotter, frillier than New Yorkers. Patrick, you must have spent a lot of time in the States. My least favorite country to play in, but most of the creative conventions are based in LA, so I stop by a couple times a year. Is playing what you call it. 2.8 million people don't follow a prince to see him work, big bro. You should know that from all your press conference. I always thought you were crazy to let them handle the narrative. You should have made your own social account, rubbed your partying in all their faces, or live streamed that murder thing you did. I already had quite enough people in my business without inviting more. You really can't live stream a murder investigation? Why not? It's not like either of you are real cops, right? Why is she even here? I invited her because she's consulting on the murder case. Since when do we care what a little thing about, like, murder? When it affected Father's favorite, of course. Do we have any updates on the murder? I've been waiting on tenterhooks to find out who did it. Lydia looks up at you with a place beside Sebastian. I'm also eager for an update. Your outfit looks nice tonight. They don't expect us to have found the killer by now, do they? I only just did an autopsy this morning. Don't get me started on the paperwork. You clear your throat as every set of eyes at the table turns on you. Yes, Miss Rose, why don't you tell us how the investigation is progressing? Murder investigations take time. I was asking the detective, Tristan. The Queen's a straight shooter, Chloe. Just tell the truth and don't get bootleggy about it. Your Majesty, I mean, I would have chosen, in all honesty, seeing this. We're investigating all of our suspects thoroughly. But the hourglass, guys, the hourglass. What theories? Nadja was killed by a quick strike to the neck, and that her stab wounds were inflicted post-mortem. Do you have any leads on the perpetrator? We have several leads, but no clear suspect. The Queen nods, satisfied with your update. Thank you, that will be all. Bring the first course. Within seconds, servants are laying the first course in front of you. Snails rock gently back and forth in their shells. Escargot, as promised. Never had it. I'm sure, given how distinguished you are, escargot's a dish you enjoy often, Detective. She smiles encouragingly, eyeing you. Ensemble, you catch Margaret's pleased expression across the table. Of course. One could say I'm even overly familiar. Snails for breakfast on occasion. Yeah, okay, dude. The wide cutlery, listen, before they even give me a choice, it's the one with 2 prongs. You glance up and notice the Queen watching you. You swallow and look down at the wide array of cutlery before you. On the outer left edge, you see a 2-pronged fork. To its right, you see a 4-pronged fork. On the outer right edge is a small 3-pronged fork. I can't with this. I'm sorry, I can't. You'll want a 2-pronged fork for snails, Chloe, and some tongs. No. Down the hatch. You take up the delicate 2-pronged fork and a pair of tongs. The Queen nods to herself and turns her attention to a conversation between Maxim and Patrick. Phew, yeah. Not like we didn't go over this earlier. Nicely done. Now all you have to do is eat them. With everyone distracted, you take the opportunity to taste your very first snail. Why just point that out? You could just call it escargot and let my imagination just go, but I already know, but you know. Well, the taste surprises you. Rich in garlic, fresh parsley, it slips down easily through your throat. You know, it's not bad. It's a delicacy for a reason. I quite enjoy them. Yeah, so salt to a snail, what else? What else have you? Alice rests her head on your knees, looking up at your fork with unbridled hope. You pop your next snail from its shell and slip it to her. Alice slurps it out of your hand. You repeat the process until all the snails are gone. Tristan's lips quirk up at a corner. I saw that. So what? I'm sharing the joy. You'll enjoy eating a snail. The dining room doors bang open and Astrid stomps into the room with a drink in hand. Oh, you started without me? You said you weren't coming, dear. So? As Astrid passes Lydia's chair, she turns her drink upside down, pouring it right into her sister's face. Lydia wipes a stream of red from her temple. Still mad, little sister. Rot in hell. She takes the seat between Patrick and King Maxim with a huff. Further down the table, Casper clutches his neck and falls dramatically into his plate of snails. Is that almond I smell in my glass? I am murdered. Sebastian has struck again. Hilarious. Get up, Casper. Nadja's death isn't a joke. It would have been more believable if you emptied your bowels, you know. That's what I told him. That's at Evelyn as the thorns continue sniping at each other. She looks almost serene amidst the chaos around her. Evelyn. How do you make this blended family work? It's an unusual situation, I know, but Victoria, Maxim, and I have always been very honest with each other. We understand our roles. There's no complication or hurt feelings. But what about your children? They don't seem to garner much respect. That's a little more complicated. She looks over to where the twins are still ragging on Sebastian. Vasily squeezes her hand as she frets. We have a great deal of practice being royal outcasts. The snail course is whisked away, and your conversation halts as it's replaced with a braised duck that seems edible. A sommelier pours you a new glass of wine to pair. Relatively tame. Never had a duck either. Rich people. Hey, this looks good. The wine is supposed to bring out the zest of the citrus glaze. You reach for your goblet, but your hand doesn't quite connect. Patrick nudges your glass closer to you with a grin. Getting sloppy already, are we? As you lift the goblet, the scent of almond hits your nostrils just before the wine touches your lips. Kristen mentioned cyanide. Someone's slipped it into my wine. Pretend to drink. Put it down. You stand, putting the glass back on the table with a slow, deliberate clunk. Chloe. Is there a problem with your wine, Miss Rose? You notice that Patrick has his phone trained on you, and you stare down the camera as you answer the Queen. I thought you said no one here would interfere with my investigation, Your Majesty. Your son just poisoned my wine. Wait, what? Which son? I have a stomach pump back in the room. You can't... Listen, you can't really stomach pump cyanide. Literally, you can't. Casper and Amiga cackle as Tristan and the Queen turn their gazes on Patrick, but it's not the Queen who reprimands him. How dare you? When in the hell will you grow up? When did you lose your sense of humor, man? The 80,000 people watching this live thought it was hilarious. Tristan smacks the phone out of his hands and it clatters to the floor with a crunch. My partner is not fodder for your content. Tristan pulls you from your seat and marches you away from the table. What is wrong with you? We have always poisoned each other. It wasn't even enough to kill her. Wow. Tristan guides you into the corridor and slams the dining room door, muffling the remainder of Patrick's protests. Alice claws tap on the floor as she hurries after you. Chloe, are you two okay? We're fine. We're gonna take a recess for a bit, but thanks for all your help tonight. You pull your earpiece from your pocket and click it off, stashing it into it. Tristan, I didn't drink and I'm fine. No, you're not. My family just attempted to murder you. Tristan, you did warn me. Not about Patrick. We should have been on the alert for him to pull something like this. Hey, I caught the whiff of the poison in time, didn't I? You did. How did you manage it? You did say that it was a tradition for Drakovians to poison the cups of anyone who they wanted to date. I was waiting for you to try something. I also told you that I wasn't a fan of poisoning courting. When in Drakovia. He looks you up and down the corridor also, and grins, pulling you close. Does this mean you want to date me, Chloe Rose? Tristan, I thought that was obvious. One hates to assume. He brushes a kiss to your lips, lingering there for only a heartbeat before he steps back. He looks at the doors with a sigh. We should get back, unless you'd like to skip the final course and serve Patrick a little payback. You look like you have a plan. Tristan can barely contain his grin. He pulls out his phone and waves it temptingly. We need to hit him where it hurts. Right in the one thing he cares about. His following. Patrick's pictogram is his pride and joy. What if we take a page from Amika's book and hacked it? Show Patrick, I bite back. I don't understand how hacking his pictogram is gonna work, but okay. How are we gonna play this? Patrick relies on his reputation as a fun-loving party bro. Posting something off-brand might actually make him cry. Yeah, why don't you post him in a diaper? He is an ass. So let's give him a taste of his own cyanide. Yes, but of the digital variety. Patrick's been poisoned so many times he's practically immune. But first, some cover for our pending crimes against the Crown. This way. Tristan presses against the far wall, leading you into another secret passage. Okay, how many of these are there? In the palace, 47 that I know of. And do you know his password? I know the password he uses for royal business, and Eddie's bright enough to use different passwords for different platforms. Tristan pulls out his phone and opens the pictogram app. He's in Patrick's account within seconds. The Prince of Pranking? Really? Sadly, yes. We should change his password so that he can't take back control of his account. Clever thinking. Any suggestions? I'm gonna think about this one. Hold on. I accept this password. Christian chuckles as he types the new password in. Alright, now that we have a little extra security, let's see what Brother has in his drafts. Peer over Tristan's shoulder as he opens Patrick's drafts tab. It has more entries than the average user's entire account. There are hundreds. Are these just his scheduled posts? From the amount of wildly unflattering thirst traps, I'd say they're rejects that didn't make the cut. What does he usually post? Other than pranks, goofy selfies that make him look attractive, usually accompanied by some edgy opinion he hopes will offend everyone, drives up the engagement. His brand is all about being bold and unapologetic. So, he'd never post anything vulnerable? Never. You take stock of the photos available to you. A moody selfie catches your eye. Is he crying? This is the one. Not a craft a caption. Something embarrassing. Something Amika would do. No, sob story about getting dumped, no. Heartfelt apology to his audience. Content creators do too much of that crap. You know what? I'm so glad as a content creator I've never had to actually literally and figuratively apologize to any of you, because I expose only my real self to each and every one of you. Not a piece of poo-poo. I'm proud of that. We'll go low self-esteem. I think all these choices are kind of crap, but let's go with that one. You start crafting a caption, reading it aloud to Tristan as you go. Pranksters, I know I'm a prince and all, but I have to be real with you about my lifelong struggle of mine. Self-esteem. I hate you already for this. Make sure you use every applicable emoji. Sad face, bleeding face, crying face, thumbs down. You are an artist. I'm one of 9 kids, and every one of my siblings is better looking and more talented than I am. My pranks aren't even that funny. This isn't me fishing for compliments or anything. Even princes need to cry sometimes. Crying emoji waterfall. And published. The likes and comments start pouring in immediately, and barely 10 seconds pass before a horrified scream erupts from the dining room. You hear startled voices as you follow the passage to a set of small peepholes, and you and Tristan press your eyes to them. You see the dining room as you left it, only now Patrick is pacing around the table with his phone in his hands. Lydia, do something! Your brand isn't a matter of national security. It's true. We lost control of that when you turned 18. Look at these comments! Instant unfollow, WTF, what happened to you? Go woke, go broke! He draws an ornate dagger from his hoodie and drives it into the table. That is mahogany, Patrick. I don't give a rat's ass, Mom! I lost 1,000 followers in less than a minute. Chill out, Pat. Once I figure out this new password, you can just call it a prank. You pull back from the people and look to Tristan. I'm gonna need Patrick's phone number. For you, anything. You copy Patrick's phone number in your phone and set your own number private. Want your pictogram back? Who is this? Someone who could do a lot more damage to your brand. What do you want, money? Not at all. I'll give you the password to your account, but first record yourself doing the ice bucket challenge, throwing wine in your dad's face. Oh my god, we're doing it. Are you kidding? Mom will kill me. You've lost nearly 2,000 followers. God damn it! Hold on. Oh god. You brush your eye back to the people and watch as Patrick hands his phone to Amika and grabs his glass of wine. You filming, Amika? Yes, but... They're cut off by the sound of shouting as Patrick tosses a wine in the King Maxim's face. Ugh. Patrick, what is wrong with you? Oh my. Oh, this is the most fun I've had since Burning Man. Did you just... Oh. There, give me my password. It's I'm a loser. You better hope I never find out who you are. Uh-huh. You better hope that I never hack your pictogram again. You smirk and delete the chat, turning to Tristan. That made me feel much better. We're lucky you chose to use your skills for the benefit of society. You'd make an unstoppably supervillain. High Drakovian praise. Tristan grins and runs a thumb over your bottom lip. Now, let's just make sure there's no poison on those exquisite lips of yours. You don't resist, wrapping your arms around Tristan as he kisses you in the privacy of the secret passage. But the constant sound of his family's voices on the other side of the wall, however, means it's over all too soon. We should get back. Even Patrick's bound to start getting suspicious of your absence. You take Tristan's hand as he leads you back towards the secret entrance. Was Patrick being serious? Did you really poison each other all the time? It used to be a game of sorts, but it was also a form of training. Elaborate. Our tutor instructed Vasily to put cyanide in my milk when I was 6 years old. The antidote was on hand in case I didn't notice in time. Did you? You can't honestly expect me to tell you if I didn't. Well, clearly he's still alive, so... Well... You're still here, alive and thriving. It takes quite a bit more to bring me to my knees. I don't know. I'm pretty good at that. You don't need to remind me, partner. And now you've reminded everyone just how deliciously dangerous you are. So, you could say I'm adapting to Drakovia surprisingly well? If no one else poisons you tonight, I'd say you made your mark. You return just as the bowls of steaming pudding are being served. Ah, you see, I told you they'd come back. Did we miss something vital? The Queen's answer is a clink to a knife against the crystal glass at her side. Amika kicks Patrick under the table, forcing him to look up from his phone. Your father and I have come to a decision. The first guests will begin arriving for your recoronation tomorrow morning. Recoronation? There's a murder to solve and you want to throw a party? Word of Miss Zorik's suspicious death hasn't yet reached the media. We cannot risk them sniffing it out during the festivities. This is a time when Drakovia must show great temerity and strength. We are no stranger to obstacle and scandal, but Your investigation is to be halted until after the ball. Plan accordingly. Wow. Amazing. Give up your investigation for a ball. And all the other festivities. Makes complete and utter nonsense, but okay. Without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down description, links to social media and the whole 9 yards, things to support the channel, give back, yada yada yada. You get the gist of it. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Aside from that, are you guys at all fans of Telltale games? Well, in case you are, last night, because Telltale Games originally broke up because of a bunch of stuff, but they came back together under, a Deck 9, I believe it is, called, made a new game, which is super cool. It's called The Expanse. I'll leave a little thing up on the video you'll see here. And, long story short is, please go check it out. I really did enjoy the game. Give it a gander. Check it out yourself, especially if you're into choices-based gameplays. And let me know your thoughts on that as well. But without further ado, love your beautiful faces. Hopefully you're all having a great day. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.